My stack to yours is a margin of gap. Cash train.
So, I said if you love me, let me know. And if you don't, let me go. And you're back. So you love me. It's crazy that this always feels so difficult. But I'm back with another video. So I did want to come back to the tube. I know it sounds really unbelievable, but I did. And I wanted to come back with a really entertaining video, me and the girls. I'm still going to drop that video. So I was sitting here and I was just thinking about certain things. And I was like, you know what, let me just shoot a video. I want something that's also more on the kind of intimate side, the honest side, and not just always, entertainment, story time, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm back with this video. So I just wanted to do a live update because a lot of people who watch my Instagram lives have been saying that if you're lazy to shoot any other type of content, please just do a live update. It doesn't have to be long. So I don't know whether this video is going to be long or short, but it's happening either way. So in terms of the live updates, I'm just going to breeze through that. I feel like 2021 was a great year. I know a lot of people who had a really bad year. And I think I've spent a lot of my years, my teenage adult years, feeling very unlucky, very pessimistic, very just a person without faith. I just felt like bad things always happened to me. I always just felt, like I said, unlucky, hard done by, all of that. So last year really kind of restored my faith in a lot of things. I started working at MTV. Obviously, I'm doing music, and then I started co-hosting Ghosted, which was great. And, my boyfriend and I moved into our house. I got a dog. We're very happy with him. So last year just flowed, opportunities and everything. It was just a really, really great year for me. And it kind of restored my faith in the power of prayer, the power of manifestation, because I experienced a lot of the things that I spoke last year, so that was great. This year's gotten off to kind of I wouldn't say rocky start, but things have made me kind of feel negative. So this year, it's only Jan, I understand, and Jan tends to be a shitty month, but it has felt incredibly difficult, right? But I'm not going to let it determine my year, but I'm just going to say that. Jan, you can stop now. Shut up. I get it. A lot of the people that I care about and who are closest to me have experienced some sort of loss. I'm not obviously going to get into that, but on my end, I've also experienced some personal kind of bits. And then my house got burgled last week. So I am kind of very anxious and on edge right now. So I know January is very weird for a lot of people, but I think that having such a good year last year where everything seemed to flow and was so seamless and just one good thing after the other, I think that because it restored my faith so much, not that I was a negative person or a pessimistic person rather before, but I did feel like someone who was, kind of made to suffer. It's normal to be sad. It's normal to experience this and this and this, and that's just my destiny. Even with my mental health, I was just you know what? I'm always going to be someone who self-harms or who relapses into self-harming or who is depressed. And I didn't feel deserving of good things. And last year, completely changed my perspective on that. So coming into this year and having a bit of a not great start kind of sent me immediately back to that place. And then my mom spoke to me and she was just dude, this is life, and I had to remember that I don't need to see it as such an extreme tipping of the scales, but I can just be Jan kind of sucked and February's gonna be great and so is March and whatever. And if it's not, that's life, but like I said, last year really kind of shot my optimism, my faith, my hopes through the roof. One thing I've really become big on is manifestation. I was never necessarily against it, but I wouldn't say that I practiced it either. Like, it would be like, maybe if I'm going through a hard time, then a friend says like, just manifest this. Then I'm like, I want to be happy. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, but it was like just a very kind of like, okay, sharp, I said it sharp because y'all believe in it or whatever. But like, last year, I really, really understood the power of it. Not that I necessarily manifested good things in the beginning of the year, but everything that happened for me last year were things that I manifested at some point, or said out loud at some point, or proclaimed over my life at some point. So I've become very big on it, and obviously I have my own personal kind of manifestations and things that I want for myself that I obviously won't share, but they are things that I just feel like are good manifestations for women, young women. I'm confident. My presence is felt when I enter a room, and my absence is felt when I leave a room. Opportunities flow my way, and everything that is not meant for me via work, via relationships, via friendships is filtered out. I'm strong. I set boundaries. I know my worth. I value myself as much as I value others. I just think those are some important things to kind of just say out loud to yourself. It's something that I've tried to, remember along with a whole bunch of other manifestations. Because I have them written down, the ones that I can share. So I want to kind of leave them in the description for this video, just in case you're kind of struggling with those things that I feel like are kind of important, and like I said, specifically for women. So outside of manifestations, I think something that, it's crazy because my partner is actually the person who's taught me this the most. But I think some of the things that I want to focus on this year, obviously my mental health is always a thing for me. It's very important to me, and I care about it a lot. I think I care a lot in general, I don't think that it's something that everyone knows, and I don't think it's something that I feed enough, but I know that I care a lot about a lot of things. And my partner has kind of really drilled in the importance of, so basically, like, I decided that this year I really want to feed. I think it's very important to feed whatever is like the dominant part of yourself. So I'm a very creative person, I think. I think I show it through my tattoos, through the way that I dress, and just little things that I do to feed that part of myself. But I don't think I'm loud enough about it. And when I was really struggling with my mental health, my therapist actually told me that, like, you suffocate that part of yourself. You love drawing and painting. Do you go to art class? You know what I mean? Like, do you go watch a play at the theater? Do you do any of that? So I realized that I spend a lot of time by myself. I spend a lot of time just at home chilling. I'm not a very social person anymore. I used to be. But I've realized that the social part of myself that I want to feed is not necessarily in the spaces that I used to feed it in, which kind of obviously contradicts my job. But I mean, that's who I am. At the end of the day, I want to feed my social side by being around really artsy people. That's something I've always enjoyed. When I was in matric, if you followed me on Instagram when I was in high school, you know that I was like very into like painting, pot plants, caring for plants, Erykah Badu, Bob Marley. Like, that was just me. I was one of those children of the soil, if you would say that. And I think that outside of my outwardly appearance and how much my style has changed, I'm still that person at heart, but I haven't fed it and fed that part of me. So something that I would highly encourage and recommend is just being true to whatever is the most predominant side of you that doesn't need other people, that doesn't need other people's approval, that doesn't need other people's involvement or anything like that. You don't need to do like it with your friends. You don't need to ask anyone to accompany you. You don't need anyone's approval. Just that part of yourself that just makes you happy and that comes naturally to you. So that's something I want to do this year, and I would encourage it. I love animals, for example. I've made a little promise to myself to start going to animal shelters on weekends. You know, it doesn't have to be every weekend, but I do want to go and help out and be involved with things that I care about. I love, like I said, creativity. I love the arts. Not that I will participate, but I love to watch. Growing up, my mom always wanted my brother and I to be very cultured and well-rounded in that sense. So we always went to museums, art museums, apartheid museums, or whatever museums. We went to plays, we went to the opera, you know, things like that. So I really, really enjoy that. And it doesn't need to be something that I'm particularly into, but I just want to start off by feeding that side of me. And I've noticed that the more you feed your true inner self, the better your mental health gets. But what I was saying was, my partner has really, really kind of helped me. When I spoke to my boyfriend about the fact that, like, oh no, you know, this year I really want to feed my creative side. I really want to feed the side of me that really cares for animals and all of that stuff. He was like, you don't need approval from anyone. Do it, do your thing. It's a you thing and an only you thing. Don't worry if you're not cheered on. Don't worry if no one wants to participate, if no one's excited, or whatever the case may be. It's a you thing. You know, he's very big on independence of your own kind of self-discovery and your own journey, you know, which is a normal thing. But I think that as people, we have kind of become like accustomed to having our two-piece as far as, fashion over, 2 cents, as far as relationships are concerned. You know, like, you tell your partner you want to do something and they're very like, I mean, obviously he said like, no, dope, like, you know, sharp. But he's made it very clear that, like, this is your thing. You need to do it, and you need to do it for you, and you don't need to get any sort of encouragement from someone else or anything like that. So I've kind of, I've never been a people pleaser. I've never really cared what people think or say, but he's always prioritized to me the importance of your journey with yourself, your relationship with yourself outside of your romantic relationships, your family relationships, your friendships, and all of that stuff. So I just thought that that was really cool, and it's something that I was like, I need to take note of, because this really is the year for really nurturing a lot of aspects of myself and really like taking care of that the same way in which I show other people love and interest and all of that. So that's something that I want to kind of focus on. So if you know of any places where a girl can go to kind of stimulate that creative side, whether it's like pottery classes or plays or whatever the case may be, let me know, because yeah, I don't think I feed that side of myself enough. And I think that I spend a lot of time just chilling at home, where I could be filling that time with that kind of stuff that I actually want to do, and that's actually good for my mental health. So that's just a suggestion. Don't have to take it, you can leave it. And then another thing I want to start doing this year is definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. I am not proud to say this, but I am a quitter, guys. Me. I'll give up, hey? I'll give up me. I will give up. I will quit. I will give up. If I feel like I'm not good at something, I almost didn't send because MTV headhunted me, but then they still wanted me to send a screen test. And I almost didn't send it because I was like, I don't think I can do this. And, you know, that decision and me actually deciding to send the screen test has affected so much of my life now. But I almost didn't do it because I'm a quitter. I am a quitter. And I don't know if a lot of people acknowledge that about themselves, but I give up easily on things, on tasks, on, I wouldn't say people. If you're my friend or whatever the case may be, like, you know, I'm not going to just give up on you. When I feel like I might be bad at something, I give up. So something that I promised myself I would do more of this year is step out of my comfort zone. For example, I have a corporate gig coming up, and when I got, you know, approached about this gig, I was like, me, corporate, I mean, I have tattoos on my face, and what do you mean corporate, you know? But I was just like, you know, it's gonna expand my skill set, expand my knowledge on something. It's gonna open my doors to like a completely different world. So, you know, let me do it, and I will do my absolute best. And if I don't do that, great, and I have some criticism that follows, it's fine. You know, it's okay, because I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to learn. So I would strongly recommend stepping out of your comfort zone. I saw a tweet that said it said something about how comfort comes at a cost. You might be okay being in your comfort zone, but there is a price to pay, because there's either no growth, there's no change, there's no money, whatever the case may be, but your comfort zone restricts you a lot. So that's something I've decided that this year I'm throwing out the window. If I'm nervous about something, whatever, nerves can pass, but I need to step out of my comfort zone. If you're part of my Instagram live community, you know that like people often ask me like, oh, how are you so confident? I don't know why people think I'm confident. I think it's because I'm well-spoken, or because I am very good at presenting a kind of extroverted, you know, I'm not an extrovert though. It's crazy because I'm actually a bit like shy. I have a lot of social anxiety as well. And I don't appreciate when people don't believe that about me, because of like my willingness to speak or what I do for a living. But I do have a lot of social anxiety. But anyway, something I always think about when it comes to confidence, which is something I struggle with. I literally had like weird thoughts about myself this morning. Oh my God. I was literally this morning thinking that I suck. Like, you guys don't understand. I was in the shower like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It happens all the time. But I clearly have done a good job of seeming really confident. And I think the one thing that does give me a true sense of confidence that is not like, it's not put on, it doesn't stem from anything else, is the fact that there will never be and there is no other me. I am amazing at being myself. In terms of being Shamiso, Tulufelo, Musaka, 100 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, someone could be better than me in whatever way. Someone could be prettier than me in whatever way. And someone could be the opposite in whatever ways. But no one can ever be me. And that is your superpower. Like, as soon as you realize that the only power you need to harness is yourself, I think it like unlocks a certain part of you, because you know that you don't need to be anyone else. You don't need to fit in any sort of category. And once you realize that, you don't even need to compare yourself, because it's like, how can you compare me to another person who's being their me? So in Will Smith's book, he says, I don't know it word for word, but in essence, he says something about the fact that you and now is the first time that this has ever happened. You literally sitting there right now, watching this video, eating Lay's with a brutal fruit on whatever date it's gonna be, whatever time it's gonna be, whatever place you're at, with the weather being however it is, you and now is the first time and the only time this has ever happened. It's such a unique experience to be yourself. And then he says that you are the most accurate kind of depiction of all the possibilities. Like, you sitting there right now, you are the most accurate kind of form of, I hope you guys get what I'm saying. You and now is never going to happen again, basically. You are the most accurate measure of you and now. So how powerful is that? You can't spend time trying to be someone else. I know that I'm a bit, you know, rough around the edges. I've often spent a lot of time around people that I felt, whether that was their personality or that was just something that was put on, but I've spent a lot of time around people where I've ended up feeling kind of bad for being who I am, you know, for being as honest as I am. I wouldn't describe myself as a crass person. I don't like crass people, but just being as raw as I am, or as rough as I am, or not wanting to be dainty and soft, or whatever the case may be. Not like, oh, I'm hard, but I'm just saying that I am, with me, it's like what you see is what you get. Let me just say that. So I think I've spent a lot of years wishing that I had other people's traits, and that I was like less complex or less this, or less assertive, less aggressive in how I express things that I'm passionate about, less emotional when I'm upset about something. I spent a lot of time feeling like that, and now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, that is the person that I am. And I've also gotten to a point where I feel like I'm surrounded by people who understand me as much as I understand them. I don't think I'm a difficult person. Obviously, I'm not going to try to sound like a special case, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Deep down inside, I know I'm not necessarily nurturing that part of me. So if any of you are struggling with mental health, I'm not saying that this is the cure or the solution, but I think it is important to always nurture your true self. Like, you don't need to be doing it in your job if you work corporate, but you are the opposite of that. Get home and make sure that you feed that part of you that desires something else and that is happy on its own doing that thing. You don't need people, you don't need company, you don't need approval. Another thing I would recommend if you are struggling is routine. So when I used to have panic attacks and I felt like there was a lot of instability in my life, what was last year? 2021. So 2020 and 2019, I read up that routine is really, really good. It's just a little kind of step in the right direction of stability. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if you're going to wake up and get back into bed. It doesn't matter if you're not going anywhere that day. It doesn't matter if, hey, whatever. Wake up and have a routine. I wake up and I shower first thing. It doesn't matter, like I said, if I'm going to get back into bed, if I'm going to come downstairs and watch a movie, or whatever the case may be, but I wake up and I make sure I shower first thing in the morning. Little things like that you do constantly and every single day helps you. Well, I don't know what the point of it was when I read it on Google, but for me, it's helped me, number one, have stability in something. That's just some of the things that I want to take into my new year is, number one, like I said, the power of manifestation and spoken word, the uniqueness of my individual experience, my confidence, the power of being me. Another thing is that when I was in therapy for like really intense kind of self-harm and suicidal thoughts and plans and all of that, my therapist had told me that like you don't feed your creative side enough, and I think that we all kind of, not all, but I think that a lot of us neglect our true selves. I, for example, really, really love the arts. I feel like my left brain is just there to function on a daily basis. Otherwise, I'm completely right-brained. I love art. I feel like I display it with my tattoos on my body. I feel like, obviously, I'm in, an industry that kind of, not as artistic, but is entertainment and feeds a bit of that part of me. But one thing my therapist said to me is that I don't feed my creative side enough. I definitely want to, like, visit art galleries and not, like, obviously, like, that's something you do, like, sharp, but I want to be very immersed in that. I don't mind not knowing a lot about it. I don't mind being corrected about it. I want to go to the theater and watch plays. I don't mind if it's not my type of play. When I was growing up, my mom always tried to make sure my brother and I were very well-rounded and very well-cultured. So we went to apartheid museum, art museum, hair museum, this, that, and the other. And then we also went to the opera, we went to plays. And I really enjoyed that. And if you followed me on Instagram when I was in matric, you know that like I was into pot plants and painting and, all of that child of the soil stuff. I don't want to put a label on anyone's kind of vibe, but I know that that's who I am at my core. My aesthetic might change, and that's because I just like dressing the way I dress now. So I think anyone struggling with mental health should definitely focus on, obviously, outside of nurturing your inner child, but nurturing like your true self that you are now as an adult. Those are just little things that I've learned and little things that I'm comfortable sharing about what I want for myself this year. I obviously have other things that I feel like, are just for me and me alone. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it probably wasn't like, you know, the entertainment and the laughs that you were looking for, but I thought that, you know, as I'm thinking about all these things, I might as well share them, and it might be useful to someone out there. I am still gonna come with the voice, with the gas, you understand? So, sorry Cash, I just woke my dog up. But I'm obviously gonna come with the vibes and stuff, but I did mention that when I started this channel, I wanted it to also involve things like mental health talks. And I felt my mental health being a little tested this month. So I just thought, you know, let's talk about everything here. Like, I'm that person, like, we're gonna talk and we're gonna be honest and we're gonna talk about everything, uncomfortable, comfortable, whatever the case may be. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope that you all have a wonderful year full of prosperity, of money, of opportunities, of good mental health, of a sound mind, of wisdom. I hope you learn how to treat people better, and I hope you get treated better this year. Just good things all around. And hopefully this year is also a better kind of year for me via YouTube. So I love you all. Not all of you, just some of you. But I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful year, and I hope I've been helpful just this much. You know, I'm very big on mental health. I care about it a lot. I care about the things that I've spoken about, and it was good to speak about it. So if you love me, let me know, and if you don't, let me go. But I will see you in the next video.